Hello, thank you once again, Internet, for joining me to talk all things vertical drama. I have two of probably the most recognisable faces on here, Cruz and Eric Guilmette, who are here to talk about a very specific project which is coming out soon, which is called Campus Rivals. So I'm going to ask them both to do a brief intro of themselves to you.
Adam, you up?
Hey, I'm Adam Santa Cruz. Me and Eric both co-produced Campus Rivals and starred in it, and we're really excited for you to watch it.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Eric Guilmette. Yeah, we were creative producers alongside Brielle, and we made Campus Rivals, and Adam wrote it, and he wrote an amazing script, and we're excited for you guys to actually see the project that we put so much time and energy into.
Definitely.
Okay, so my first question then is to the writer. Where did the idea come from?
I'd say, I grew up watching a bunch of teen dramas, CW style shows, and there weren't very many of those for verticals, so I thought it'd be a very exciting change while still fitting the vertical format. So yeah, that's kind of where it came from. We just wanted to all go back to college and have some fun.
So you decide on a college setting. What was the story you wanted to tell? / what can you tell us about the synopsis?
Yeah, so the story I wanted to tell a romance, but obviously since it's vertical, it had to be a little bit dramatic. So I thought a love triangle would be the best way to go about it. Um, and Vanessa, she plays the lead Claire. She has a boyfriend who's my character Chad, and she transfers to be with him, and she runs into Xavier, who's played by Eric, and that's an old flame. So it's a lot of drama really quick. Jump right into the story. And yeah, I just want to have a lot of fun with it. That's where the script came from.
How did you come up with the costumes?
Yeah, we had a great costume team. They kind of put together individual lookbooks for each character that the director approved, and they were really cool because me and Eric got to dress super different from each other, so you could see like a sharp contrast between our characters. So yeah, it was really a really great team behind it.
Yeah, I was a little more preppy, and Chad was a little more like grungy, I guess, if you
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
call it.
a little bit like
Um,
90s grunge.
Yeah, yeah. Like you had like a Sum 41 t-shirt and like all these stuff. I was like, I like this. And like then I'm wearing like this preppy thing and I'm like, this isn't me at all, but it's okay.
I
That's
think
what
that's the
acting is.
opposite for me. I wanted what you were wearing, and you wanted what I
Yeah,
wanted.
we
Yeah,
played opposites, really.
exactly.
So, Adam, when you wrote it, did you have Eric in mind for
Yeah.
the
Yeah, me and
role?
Eric had been wanting to work together for a while. We had never worked together before Campus Rivals. We'd only met out socially. So I think when I was writing it, I kind of had him in mind for the lead, and it was kind of easy to, picture Eric being the lead. He's like so great in every vertical he's in, and it was really cool to see him have like the chance to, not like tooting my own horn with the script. I'm saying him to act with like a good dialogue and everything like that. It was like such a treat because he's such a great actor. So yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
There's so many great things that you did for my character development that made it not feel like a vertical. You know how verticals just go a little too far with the gimmicks and the dialogue that is regurgitated. Like you made not just my character, but the whole script really well formatted, and it made it very fresh and new. Like it was refreshing. I think that the script and so Adam reached out to me when we were in. Let's see, I was in Turkey when you first reached out to me about this. It was in January. So that I'm not sure, Jen, if you remember, but I was filming in Turkey in January with Grace and Kelsey. And Adam reached out to me about this then. And anyways, he sent me a copy of the script and I read it and I was like, yes, this is, but it changed a lot since the first version that you
Yeah.
sent me. But still, like I was like, it kept the same thematic style and it was refreshing. It was college. It was not something that was very vertical tropey, but it had the vertical tropes in it.
So,
Thank you.
when you're writing these scripts, are you always writing them for yourself as well?
I like to.
Yeah.
I just wanna, when I'm doing verticals, I wanna have as much fun as I can on set, and sometimes, like, depending on the script, it's easier to have fun on some sets than others. So if I could just guarantee that we're all gonna have fun and have a fun story, and I kind of have a good feel for what fans want at this point, so I feel like it's just easier to do it myself, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where I come from with it.
And you were always clear which role you were going to give yourself and which role you were writing for Eric.
Yeah. I always wanted to play Chad. I like playing a villain sometimes, even though he's like not too much of a villain in this. He's just kind of the opposite of Eric's character. But I think it's more fun. And there was a point where I was like worried Eric wasn't going to be able to do it because of scheduling. So I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to play Xavier, and this is meant to be Eric. I'm gonna let it down.
We
But yeah, I
we squeezed it in so hard. Like honestly,
literally like
like
tiny.
whenever you make a movie or you make a vertical, I feel like it's a little mini miracle that you're able to pull it off. And like even just from a scheduling aspect, we pulled this off in what, 7 days of filming, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's wild. Yeah.
yeah. We're
So
lucky
that
that it all worked out. Sorry, Jen.
guessing from what you said, Xavier gets the girl.
We'll see. We don't know.
So I would
Yeah.
really like it to turn out for the books that Mr. Guilmette doesn't get the girl for once.
I might not get the
We'd,
girl. Yeah.
we'd all like to see that, right?
Just for like, let's flip the audience
Totally.
expectation. Okay.
Right?
So you obviously mentioned Vanessa, who's your female lead, and I know
Mhm.
you work with her. How did it come about with her getting involved? How early in the project was that?
Yeah, we put together a list of girls that we really liked and wanted to work with, and we submitted it to the platform. And Vanessa was the choice, and she was our choice and the platform's choice. So it was kind of amazing, because I mean, I didn't even like we're friends with her, but we didn't have to like push super hard. She was just such an amazing actress, and they wanted her immediately. So it was really a blessing that we got her.
Yeah, and I think it helped that both you and I had worked with Vanessa. I most people wouldn't know this because it never got released, but I did a feature with Vanessa like 4 years ago, and so her and I knew each other, and that was like a 21-day shoot. That was a lot of time, and
Wow.
so it was one of those things that since Adam and Vanessa had worked together, and me and Vanessa had worked together, when her name came up, it was like, yeah, we could both see her as Claire. She fits the description, and we know she can act. And
Cool. Okay.
this is a heavy role for her because she's acting with, when you do a love triangle, you have to, the female lead needs to act with Adam's character and my character, where me and him are kind of splitting time a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, she really had to carry like a brunt of the load, and she did such an amazing job. She's amazing with, memorization, with being able to like she can cry like that, which is crazy to me, and she's just so
It's
talented.
vertical
So
skill, isn't it?
yeah, it really is. It does come in handy. And it's funny because we worked on the same show with Brittany, who played Hannah in our show. So everyone kind of knew each other. And, Lawson was a good friend of, she played Autumn. Lawson, she was friends with Brittany already. And then I had worked with Lawson like 8 years ago on a short film, and I hadn't seen her since. And it just kind of like came into play that she was available. So it was really cool.
So I managed to get a tiny bit of a scoop on this because I spoke to Brittany earlier this
Yeah.
week, and she said one of the things she really liked about the role. I mean, she said she's kind of the villain, but is that there's a reason. Obviously, you
Yeah.
don't always get for a villain beyond they're just a bad person and they behave
Yeah.
horribly.
Yeah, I gave her a definite backstory and somewhere to play with. Like, I feel like villains are kind of boring when they're just mean to be mean. Like, they always have to have something a little bit redeemable or like where you can see where they're coming from. And her character definitely has that.
So, people who follow you both on Instagram will have seen there was a load of you did behind the scene shots. And then you had kind of day players on, but day players who are quite recognisable,
Hmm.
would you say?
Yeah,
Because it
definitely.
became a like spot the vertical name. I was almost like, how did you do that to make sure that no one felt left out and that they hadn't been asked?
Like one of the things that me and Adam really wanted to do with this series is we saw the opportunity to elevate the space. One of the issues that verticals have is that it doesn't feel like it feels like you're, how do I say this nicely? It feels like you're working for someone when you're filming a vertical half the time, whereas we wanted to make the atmosphere that you're working with your friends. You're actually doing something that is going to matter. And so when we decided to do this, we're like, hey, let's try and get as many cameo appearances in this as possible. So then we just started texting our friends, and then eventually it also got to the point that people were texting us because, word got out that we were having these things, and then we're like, oh, we can fit them in here, like we can have a cameo here. And then altogether, I think we ended up having like 21 cameo appearances
Yeah.
in the show. And so it's like it'll be really fun for the viewer because the viewer will be able to watch and go, "Ooh, I wonder when this person's coming." And then, I see them, and it's like That's what it is. That's what this is about. Like Adam said, we do this because we want to have fun. Like we want to enjoy the art we're making, and part of the reason of having all these cameos is we get to have fun with our friends, you know?
Exactly. And rolling off of that, like also to make the fans excited and happy and make stuff that they enjoy, because everyone gets excited to see their favorite actor, even if it's just for a split second. Like if we can make people smile and enjoy the show just based on that, I think that's a win.
Is there anyone you would have really liked, but you just couldn't make it work because of scheduling? It's
Yeah,
like,
there was like
True.
there's like seven people that we couldn't get
Yeah.
because like they were either working at the same time or they weren't in LA when we were filming. Yeah.
but that's
Yeah,
pretty
there's a lot.
impressive that you said you think you got 21 out of possibly maybe a 30 you had on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good. That's
I
pretty
mean, I
good.
would like to pose the challenge to any other vertical. Try and get that many vertical stars in one show, and I guarantee you won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
So
It's a good
I will,
challenge.
I will, I will make that stand right here, right now.
We
That's
think this is it. This is the record has been set and it won't be
Definitely.
broken.
so far. If you can get more than that in one show, then like let us know what your formula is because ours was we're just asking our friends. That's literally what we did. We just messaged our friends and we're like, "Hey, you want to do this? Yep, sick." So like, and that's the thing is most verticals you can't pull that off because again, it feels like nine times out of ten you're working for someone, and like then it's like, okay, well, how much am I getting paid? Like that's like then the first thing that you would come to, and it's like when you're working with your friends, it's we wanted to kind of make this like Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler hires all of his friends, and he has cameos from his friends, and they just want to do it half the time, probably just to support him and hang out and have fun. That's what
Yeah,
we want, where we want the vertical industry to go. That's also why we're producing series because you can do stuff like that.
definitely.
So I have to ask, what then were the kind of the main scenes where you were able to bring others in? What were kind of the group scenes that you were like, this will work, we can bring
Yeah,
extra
we had a
in?
lot of party scenes because it did take place in college. So there was a couple frat parties, there was a sorority party, a big classroom scene. So there's faces kind of spread across all of those scenes.
Did you have themes for your frat party to
We
like
didn't,
differentiate them?
sort of, not really. Like they were more
Colors.
just
We
yeah,
had color themes because our director Ting Ting, like when we decided we wanted her to direct, like one of the things that was so amazing about her vision was she wanted there to be a color palette, even for the intimacy differences between my character and Claire and Adam's and Chad and Claire. It's like there, and that's again where most verticals miss. They don't think about coloring. They don't think about. I mean, usually they just light everything the same. They light it like very commercially, very bright, and it's like the color themes actually between our characters is different and with our fraternities. Like my color palette for my fraternity was different than your color palette for your fraternity and the color palette for the sorority. So it's like just there alone there was thematic differences.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't get to have any like fun themed parties, but they were definitely themed by our fraternities, which was cool.
And then talking about, you've talked about how it looks. What about the sound and sort of music as well? Sort of what have you been able to do with that? Because Eric sort of talked about how he's trying to really raise things with what they're doing on Love and Blood. So is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
something that's here? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, I'm not sure where we stand on the songs that we actually got for the actual show, but I know when we were on set, our director Ting Ting had specific songs that she wanted to play while we were filming, which was cool because especially like, I mean, I don't know if people always know this, but when we do dancing scenes or anything like that on set, it's just silent usually, and you're just kind of swaying to your own internal, hoping like there's music in there. And with this set, we got to play music and really have fun with it and kind of get into it. So I think there were some great songs that were chosen. Hopefully, we can get really similar ones. Um, but we're on a budget, so we'll see.
So you used to do a Spotify playlist, couldn't you?
Yeah,
Have
that'd be
a
really fun.
playlist. That needs to happen.
Yeah, we could definitely do a Spotify playlist for the release that matches again like Claire's vibe, my vibe, and
Mhm.
Chad's vibe. I think that'd be
Definitely.
fun.
That'd be
I
really
just want
cool.
to go on a side note here because some actors and actresses have told me that when they're trying to get into a character, they'll put together a playlist for a character. Have either of you ever done that?
Yes.
Yeah. I know I actually did for this show because after we had our fitting, I kind of saw how like grungy and like edgy my character's wardrobe was. So I did put together like some like old like 90s and early 2000s like grunge music, and it was kind of fun to prep that way because I've never really done that, but I know a lot of people do, so it was fun to try out.
Yeah, I'm filming a feature right now in Texas, and it's like a Bollywood inspired romantic drama, but it takes place in Texas, and my character is a Texan, and so he just listens to country music, like he thinks country music is the best thing ever. So I already listen to country music myself as a human, but I also, to prep for this role, I literally put on a lot of old timey, more like George Strait era, like that type of country, just to really fit into my character a little.
Nod. I don't have a clue because I'm English, but country. I go,
It's
yes,
okay.
yes, I know about country music. Okay. So what I wanted to ask you now is what's the kind of the tone of it? Like, are you, because obviously with college stuff, you can go quite broad with the humour. Have you kind of brought humour in? Is it more about the drama? Is it more about the romance? Kind of, what was the feel you were going for?
Yeah, I mean, the drama always came first. That was the biggest focus. But I always like to bring a little bit of comedy into things just because I think it's more exciting and like more fun to play with. So there's definitely some ad-libbing in there between our characters and just like little running jokes that we added in through filming that weren't in the original script. So there's definitely themes of comedy and drama and a lot of romance. So it has a lot to play with for people.
I think one of the things that's really nice about the cameo roles is most of the cameos add comedy to
Hmm.
the scenes. Like we tried to, when we were blocking out scenes that we were adding in cameos, because half of the time their character wasn't scripted. And we then thought of ways to add some comedic timing and some lines that would make the audience just laugh. And so I think the three main characters might not be the most humorous, but the comedy is definitely coming from every cameo you see on the screen.
Definitely 100%.
So, I have to ask about vertical tropes. Have we got any slaps? Say no.
When you
Say
say
no.
no.
That's a trick question.
I don't think we do.
Yeah, I don't
Well
think
done.
so.
Good work. You don't need one.
Yeah.
Does anyone go anywhere near a swimming pool?
Yes.
Yeah, spring break.
Okay, fair enough.
But
Okay.
it's justified. It makes sense that there's a pool there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What about sports as well? Have we
Does
got any
beer pong
sporting
count as a
heroics?
sport?
Because that
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
to be in at the
Beer,
moment, all the football players.
Yeah.
beer pong.
Beer pong is
Beer
totally
pong.
one.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
okay,
that's
right.
the
I will.
sport.
Um, okay, so my next question is kind of how do you want people to feel when they finish watching this? Like what do you want them to take away from it? Or is it literally just I just want them to have fun?
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know if the audience is necessarily going to learn anything about life from our show, but we want the audience just to feel refreshed. Like, oh my God, I watched something that's so nuanced and so different and not like 99 other verticals I've seen.
I'm thinking it sounds like there's a high rewatch as well, because people watch it for the story and then want to go back and rewatch and spot all the cameos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can make a drinking game out of this.
yeah,
Like,
totally.
not that we're promoting drinking while you're watching a college show, but also feel free to have a beer. But we want people to watch and go like, they can make a bingo board of when they see their characters. We even thought about this. This would be a really fun idea. Maybe we should do this. Is like making a thing where people can submit what they think the order of cameo appearances will be. Like we can say all the cameos and say whoever gets the list like closest to the order of when they actually come out in the film, we can give them some sort of a gift. I think that'd be a really fun way to
That would be
watch.
fun, yeah. Definitely.
Have you got any mementos from set? Did you manage to keep anything?
Yeah, I kept a Lambda Chi fraternity sweatshirt, and I think that's it, actually. I think that's all I kept.
I haven't been in my home since we wrapped because I literally got on a plane, but I definitely kept something and I put it in my room at 2 a.m. when we wrapped. I just can't remember what.
Yeah, there was more stuff I wanted to take. Like, there was so much, like, we had an amazing set designer named Marcel,
Oh, that's
and
so good.
he made like big fraternity letters for my room, and I was like so determined to take them, and then I completely forgot about it until like way after the fact. So I don't have them.
Yeah.
Presumably, we're just in storage somewhere, and hopefully not just being thrown
Yeah,
away.
not just like thrown in the trash, hopefully.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that like also makes this show so elevated. Like Marcel and then our set decorator was Anthony alongside him. Like they did so incredible with making it look like college, not just like a vertical college, like an actual college. Like we had gigs, we had like from even just the designs on the walls, like the posters and stuff. So I think that's another thing that again most verticals miss on that. They just try and light it for because again I think the main thing is when you're filming this way, you have to dress most of the room. When you're filming this way, you can sheet it and just have this part decorated. And then there's no pan space. You can't do this. So I think that they more so decorated it like the whole thing was going to be done. And our DP was phenomenal at making sure we captured the essence of that. So that's again, these are those little things that you don't think about when you're filming a vertical, but when you've done 900 of them, like me and Adam have, like you see the ways to make it a little bit better.
Definitely.
I feel this is like the awkward question, but I need to ask. Like, how old are both of you, and who did the biggest age drop to get into your college?
Me, me and Eric are
Who pushed it the most? Like,
we're very similar in age, so I feel like it was a big stretch for both of us.
Yeah, I'm 31 and we didn't really establish a true age, but if we're seniors in college or juniors in college, which we also didn't establish, then we could be somewhere between 21 and 22. And we also did that because we wanted to keep it open for a sequel. So
Heck yeah, watch it.
yeah, that was the next one actually. Like, is it all? But what about all your cameos? Was there anyone there who was older? I want to know, like, who did the biggest?
there's
Like,
definitely I can think of one. I'm not gonna like give away their age because
Yeah, yeah.
you don't have to give the
but
actual age, but
but
just
I can think
give.
of one who I know is 34 that was playing 21. So that's like a 13-year difference.
Yeah. But then we did have like some that were like actually the age like Natalie, like she's like young as like young too, and she was like kind of in the right age bracket. And Lawson's young too, so it was just like cool to like have like everyone be a mix but all be the same age at the same time.
And was it actually quite fun to go back? Did you both go to college? I know Eric. Did you go to college, Adam?
Yeah, yeah, and I
What were
loved
your
college.
own college experiences like in comparison?
Not this crazy for sure. We didn't have any Greek life at my school, so it was just mostly like normal parties, no frat parties. So it was kind of cool to step into the fraternity world for a minute.
Yeah, it was just a refreshing like I don't know, it did make me think of like the college experience of going to parties and you see all your friends and stuff, but also I feel like that's kind of a little bit of what our lives are now because of verticals, because like living in the vertical world is a little collegey, like you
Mhm.
know like what's going on with everyone who's friends, who doesn't like each other, like the drama, there's actual a little bit of a college feel to being in the vertical actor world.
Yeah, yeah. We all have group chats. We all like go out together. So it is very similar actually to my college experience.
And then
Some of us
talking,
get FOMO when we're not home and we can't go to everything and we live
Yeah,
out
we
of a
do.
backpack.
so just talking about college as well, I just wanted to ask. So, okay, some classic movies set during college. Okay, I've gone for a range of themes, and I want to know which one's your favourite. Okay, so Legally Blonde, Goodwill Hunting, Van Wilder Party Liaison, Pitch Perfect, and I did put the end one in for you, Adam. Scream 2.
I mean, that's the winner, obviously. Scream 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time, so that's a good one, Jen.
I thought you'd probably go for that one. What about
Absolutely,
you?
that's mine for sure.
I'd probably go for Van Wilder. Yeah.
That's a good one too. All four of those are awesome. So I feel like if you
Yeah,
didn't throw Scream 2 in there, it would have been hard.
yeah, you can't go wrong with those.
Yeah.
So when you finished rapping, and obviously you've both moved on to other projects, what's the process of how you're still involved until we see it on our mobile phones?
Yeah, so Brielle, our main producer, she is working closely with the platform with Viglu right now, and they're going over the edits and everything like that. I think we're on maybe our second edit out of a couple, so yeah, it's going well. We aren't as involved with the editing process, but we are super excited to see it.
Yeah, and we have more on the creative side, we're more part of the marketing aspect, the ways that we want to deliver materials, the ways that we want to involve we got a lot of content that 99% of the content we shot hasn't been shared. So we got a lot of interviews on set, we got a lot of promotional things that I think will be fun for the fans to engage with. And just again, ways that you can make this feel more than just a show. I think not to go down a rabbit hole, but I think one of the things with verticals that they miss on is it becomes such a watch, rinse, move on to the next show because there's so much content going on. And we wanted this to feel more like something that people will have a lead up to. And then even once it's out, there's ways to interact and engage, and then also even try and push for some level of a sequel. And so I just think that that's really what me and Adam are involved in is that aspect is trying to make it feel bigger than just a vertical series. And it's the same thing with Love and Blood. Like we didn't want it to feel like a vertical. We want it to feel like a feature that people can watch beyond just once or twice.
So if fans are watching this, right, and they want a sequel, is there like an item that they can latch onto? Because I remember back in the day when the original Roswell came out with Jason Beer and stuff, and when that got cancelled, there was a really big fan campaign because the aliens in that used to drink Tabasco sauce. So all the fans around the world were sending Tabasco sauce to like the producers, and finally got another series made. Like, is there anything like that you're like, fans, this, if you want the next series, this is what you need to buy and send to producers to convince them?
Gosh,
I think one thing we could do is like, and we've talked about this on the producer front with different projects, like some level of crowdfunding, like not that we want to make the fans feel required to ever give money beyond paying to watch the show, but I think like there could be a level of making fans the executive producers and having some sort, like if they really love a show and they give the money, and can source it enough, then it gives us the ability to say, hey, we got this as like a minimum guarantee. We just need to raise this and then we can go shoot the thing. Whereas I think that's where a lot of vertical apps, they are skeptical to do a sequel because they're the ones funding it. And so it's more of a risk for them. But if the fans are the ones demanding it, like again, the money talks. And so if the money's there, it makes it very easy to go, it's right here. Let's go shoot this thing. And yeah, I would say that's probably the thing they could latch onto from a producer brain standpoint.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as far as like the Tabasco reference goes, I don't know if there's like any one specific like item in the show, but obviously like each of our characters have such a very like specific aesthetic that like I think if they're like we want more Chad, we want more Claire, we want more Xavier, like it's gonna happen. And we have a lot of ideas for the sequel, so I think as long as everyone watches and kind of comments and shares and talks about the show, I think it could have a good chance of getting one.
I was just thinking, I wonder if there could be an option, like, because I come from book selling, where you prepay.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, they will often put out, it used to be like, the new Dan Brown or Robert Jordan, or, something that was eagerly awaited, and you could actually pay for it. They didn't really actually take the money from your account until the book is physically there and ships to you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that would work because often we do pay for, to unlock certain shows. I've paid a silly amount of money because I wanted to watch Jake Hobson something this week and I have no regrets.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
that or eating out and I paid
Yeah.
for that. But yeah, so I think you could definitely do something like that.
That's
Sort of like
smart.
just
Yeah.
Yeah.
prepay.
That's like a really good idea to take that from like books because it's definitely a thing people do. So I think it would work.
Yeah, I think there's a way to bring that to life, and I also think that we're kind of getting into the new wave of verticals and a new like a turning of the page to something that's more refreshing and more, I don't know, it feels like it resonates more. And I feel like that more level of crowdfunding and stuff, like an independent film market, is actually going to be more possible because of just how many viewers there are and how connected and how many ways there are to watch. I mean, like, your account, Jen, obviously is like the main source of reviews, of getting news out and all that stuff, and everyone's aware of that. And there's so many other accounts that do that I can imagine in another 6 months there will be review accounts galore, right? And it's like the more that stuff like that happens, it makes it more possible for stuff to be crowdfunded or whatever, investors that are just like, hey, we see this, go do this. And so, yeah.
I think that's the other thing. We try not to add up as fans what you spend on verticals. Sometimes I look briefly at my Google Play and go, let's
Yeah.
not just see what that bill is. But I think there's a real. So I just want to go on about this crowdfunding. I just think it would really work because we pay a lot anyway because it's finding a media that you want to consume. And I think that's one of the things if you look at what people spend money on in the world today, I think it's either stuff that kind of escapes them or makes them feel that they belong or is an experience. And kind
Definitely.
of verticals offer all of that. So I was like looking at football. So like in the UK, people will pay insane amounts of money to like follow their football team around the country, accommodation. And then it's kind of similar to verticals because you do pay a silly amount of money really for these apps. But a lot of us want the better stuff and would be more than happy to divert some of that money that's going to the apps directly to, right, okay, we all really like Campus Rivals. We want to see another one. So I'm just like, you so need to do that.
Well,
And I
and
just,
how fun would it be if you as a viewer are able to be like a quote unquote executive producer if you pledge X amount of dollars,
mm,
and then you can actually be a part of development discussions of being on set with us in either a virtual way or getting an
mm.
invite to come to set and see what's going on. It's like that's where it becomes a more immersive experience for people to be actually involved, and I think that's possible.
Also, t-shirts work really well. Just see. I still
We
have a
get,
t-shirt from when I crowdfunded something on YouTube about 10 years ago.
oh wow.
And I
Yeah,
freaking
because
love the
t-shirts last
t-shirt.
forever.
But Campus Rivals is obvious because obviously you have the uni merch, don't well, also not the uni, the college merch, don't you?
Yeah,
So yeah,
And
I
that's
just
it is our knowledge that our logo is not changing as far as we know. So
yeah.
the design that we have, I think, is going to be the final design, which was just a placeholder, to be quite honest. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I made that in 8 minutes on Canva,
But it
for
looks
Campus for.
amazing.
and we pulled it off.
Yeah. And just a final question about it then is I know it's the $1 million question. Do you have any idea of when it will be on phones?
There was word of sometime in July while we were on set, so I'm kind of hoping, maybe around my birthday it'll release. It'd be a nice gift. But yeah, they haven't given us a hard, firm answer yet, but I'm thinking July.
Yeah, I know we have a final edit. I remember this was floating around, and we could probably just ask this question and get the answer, to be honest. But I know that there it was like a delivery date for final edit by something in early July. So I think Adam's right that, but also then from there, then it's how much marketing do they want to put in, how much time, all that stuff. So again, still things that are not fully in our control, but we're doing our best to get it out as soon as possible.
Yeah, yeah, and Viglu as a platform is so amazing, and they're so quick about things, and they're so easy to work with. And our EP Bonnie, like she's the best. So I think it'll get out soon, and it'll get out and be great. So thanks to them.
And will you be doing a watch party?
I hope
Yes.
so. Yeah.
We we planned a big party actually. We
Yeah.
want to do that. And if it comes in July, I will be here for it. So we can do it.
Yeah, yeah, we're trying to have a fraternity party to celebrate. So it should be fun.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for your time because obviously Eric's on set and Adam's on holiday, but you've both given up a bit of time to talk Campus Rivals with me. But yeah, I mean, you knew I already wanted to watch it, but now I really want to watch it. So just thank you so much.
Thank you. And Jen, I would come here anytime for you, so don't even thank us. Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for doing all you do. We're very excited for everyone to see this show.
Definitely.